I've thought about putting up a green screen and like, you know how you can do like a roller coaster POV?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that would be nice.
That would be great. Or like floating through space.
Yeah.
Or
podcast on the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I like that a lot.
I like that too.
I'll work on that. Hi, this is OnesToWatch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna, and I'm joined by Between Friends.
Hey.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hey, I'm Brandon.
I'm Savannah.
We're Between Friends. We're so happy to be here.
Yay.
We love OnesToWatch, and we're happy to be hanging out.
I know. We were just talking about all the ones to watch lore. I'm like, I might have to make you go back through it again.
Oh, yeah.
We were just saying the first article we wrote about you was like 2019, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You guys are one of the first people to cover us when we were releasing our, I think it was our first EP, actually. So.
Like of any publication?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And we were so excited. We were like, we can't believe it.
And I'm still
This is real.
and still excited every time
Yeah.
we see an article from you guys.
But I think because we've had such an early on relationship with you guys, every time it happens, even now, it's like after our own hearts. Like it feels like our favorite thing. So we're super happy.
It's
and
like
grateful.
a bond between friends.
It is.
Something like
Absolutely,
that.
something like that. And also for those watching, it is pouring down rain in
It
Los
is
Angeles.
Currently, we're in the midst of the Pineapple Express.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is simply the funniest name they could have thought of
I
for
know.
this.
It's so fitting.
Is it?
I think it's
For LA.
fitting because it's like, what do you do in LA when it's raining outside and you can't go to work?
What do you do?
You know.
Oh,
You know.
Oh, I see. See, I didn't put that one together.
I'll let the listeners have their own.
The viewers
imagination
they
on
can
that.
talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, they can figure it out.
Your eyes got so red, you were like,
I was like,
oh.
well, because I've had like all of my relatives reach out to me over the past week, being like,
Are
the
you
Pineapple
okay?
Express is coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I live here and I didn't hear that name.
I honestly didn't hear it until you just said it. If
Really?
I'm being
And you
completely-
just rolled with it.
Well, I did roll with it, and then it made sense. Like everything happened quickly in my brain, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Our moms
Right.
checked up on us every day, asking
Yeah.
if like our house rolled down the hill.
Yes.
As
My
is.
mom's like, are you buried in a landslide
Yeah.
yet?
Yep.
Mhm.
Because I didn't answer her singular phone call.
That
No.
was same with us. She called him, he didn't answer. She called me, I didn't answer, and then I texted her, and she was like, "Are you guys okay?"
Do you guys live together?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She couldn't just roll up.
She could get two birds with one stone. She just came over.
Yeah, she was pretty confused.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, even in the rain. You
We're
are all
so
bundled
happy.
up over there.
Oh yeah, we're so happy to be here.
We're cozy vibes
It's
today.
great. Cozy boys.
vibes. Well, this is Chef's Choice, so we're going to go through our little 3-course meal of your tunes.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
And to start us off, I want to know what the appetizer is for Between Friends. What's the first bite you would serve up to listeners if they've never heard your music before?
Is it fair to have one answer for me, one answer for him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I appreciate
You
that.
are different people.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Believe it or not.
Believe it
Thank
or
you.
not.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Yes.
Wow, that's tough.
Okay.
The appetizer. You go first.
I would say, it's so hard because naturally everyone's going to think it's affection.
I'm looking for affection in all the wrong places.
Because that was the first thing that kind of did something for us.
But like top streaming and like the breakthrough
Yeah.
song, it doesn't equate to, I feel like, what represents you
Yeah.
right off the bat.
I agree. I think in some ways it does represent the dynamic that Brandon and I have
Yeah.
right off the jump. Like it is one of those songs that he's singing on, I'm singing on, and we're singing together, and it's a little bit more live sounding. Like we dabbled in some more electronic vibes and some more like
We've gone down a lot of rabbit holes.
lots
musically.
of different vibes musically.
Yeah.
But that's who we are, you know? It's
Yeah.
like-
So I would say maybe I'm not going to say affection because that's too fucking. Can I curse?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say maybe like navigate.
Okay.
I won't lead you on, cause you're better on your own. Yeah. I'm sipping on my cup, I'm spinning. I'm sipping, I'm spinning, I'm winning. I'm spinning.
That was unexpected.
That is super unexpected.
I don't know. I really don't. I'm having a hard time with this question.
Why do you say navigate?
I think it kind of shows this, like, we don't really fit in any sort of mold thing that we've got going on. And, like, Brandon and I, our biggest mission is to just always be, like, pushing ourselves and pushing, like, our envelope and our, like, box personally. And I think when we made that song, we had already had so many people in our ears about making another Affection. And for me personally, that was like, we're not going to do that. And we're going to make this song. And even though it definitely is not my favorite song of ours, I think that it had a little bit of that, like, integrity a part of it. And I feel that way a little bit. I don't know.
So it's like less showing the sonic palette first and more showing the personality first.
Yeah, like I would say also, like, the entire mixtape is a representation of that, because we're just kind of dabbling in things that we wanted to try. And I think that's a good baseline for what Between Friends is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. See, for me, I know this is funny, but I'm going to start with Affection so that we get it out of the way.
Of course you are.
Because look,
he's like, if she doesn't say it, I'm gonna say it.
Because look, the thing is this, you're absolutely right. I think it sums up a lot of the DNA of what Between Friends is. Even now, with our record, our first album out, the DNA of that song and the DNA of, like, what we've created for the album is very similar. And I think if you get a taste of that and then you go through the discography and you end up at the album, it's all going to feel like it all makes sense to some degree.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm happy with that being your appetizer, as I think it is for a lot of people when they go on our streaming services and they see it first and they hear that first.
Very first song you click on.
Yeah, and then you dive through and then, you know, you end up somewhere new and exciting. So I'm going to say that as the appetizer. This
is very interesting because yours is like, you know, if you like Affection, you're going to like everything. Yeah. And it's like, if you like Navigate, it's like, okay, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what he said, and that's kind of exactly what I said in the beginning of my answer.
But I said it.
But I just think that there's so much more to us than just, like, boy, girl singing and, like, I don't know. We have so many levels to our music, so it's just whatever you're kind of
absolutely
into.
Yeah, you can get started at any point.
Yeah.
You know, this is
What's yours? What's your appetizer?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Please, just tell us.
I had a couple of options for me. I was either going to say What's Up or Bruise.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
Back again, but it's fine. It's fine.
We can go if you like to. I can't go without you. We can go if you like to. I can't go without you. I've been running in circles. You're bruising up my heart.
Because I've recommended you guys to people before, and those are usually the songs that, like, get them.
Yep.
Like, I play Bruise for someone in the car, and they're like, yeah, I'm down.
Awesome.
Like, windows down driving through Laurel Canyon.
Let's go.
I agree.
They're in and they're fans.
Okay, that's good news.
Shit, I agree.
That, I feel like it gets the vibe of you guys sonically. Like, everything meets in the middle.
Lines up.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I agree with you, too.
Yeah, I would say those. I think those are two really good appetizers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And What's Up does kind of get the, like, sibling duo. Like,
No,
when you're like, What's up? What's up?
What's Up is literally the perfect appetizer.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't know
so
why
mad.
we missed that.
Like,
Shit.
It's almost like I'm a third party and I get to listen to you guys without hearing the writing process.
No, it's great. It's great because I think Sav and I, we just, like, we focus so hard on, you know, achieving a sonic mission with all of our music that I guess we don't really think about it like this. So it's a cool, different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the sonic mission then?
You know, we care so much about wanting to go forward in pop music in a way that feels super authentic and original. And I think, you know, that's kind of been our secret little space since we started was, okay, we're making pop records, but they don't really sound the same as a lot of other pop records because we don't know how to do that. We do it how we know how to do it.
Which is a skill.
And that's something I never want to change. You know, I think that's what has really been like the branch of our sound. So I think the sonic mission for us is we just want to keep pushing ourselves. And, you know, we both talk about it all the time. We feel like we have, you know, so much to go. We have so much to do. We have a lot that we want to accomplish, you know, as songwriters and producers. And I think that we're just kind of getting there. So.
Are you guys the main producers of the project?
Yeah.
I don't produce. That's Brandon and our best friend Luca Closer. She's done pretty much the entire album that we just put out with us, and
Incredible.
kind of making more music now again with her. And
Yeah.
Yes.
It was our first time kind of going outside the box, I think, for a couple years. It was Savannah and I development time, and it was just us working every day in the studio, finding our sound and working every day towards getting better at
And to be
what
honest,
we do.
I don't think we ever, which is very close-minded of us to think, but we never really saw ourselves working with anyone else. We were,
I don't think that's closed-minded. I think you found something that works.
yeah, we loved working with each other. We still love working with just us two, but
yeah.
like this third dynamic of like not only our best friend, but someone that we like respect and think is also very talented. That dynamic of like, it's like the best thing ever, because there's always another
there's friction.
opinion.
There's friction.
There's friction to like,
But good friction?
No, good friction.
Yeah.
You need friction in order to make something worthwhile, I think, in my
I think
opinion.
what he means
Yeah.
is like, in an instance where like I would write a chorus, he'd be like, I love it, sick, let's record it. She's like, can we make it better?
Yep.
Can you challenge that?
Ooh.
So like there's this dynamic of like what him and I are comfortable in, and then her being like, I think you can do better. And us
I love
being
that.
like, okay.
And
like,
it opened us up a lot, I think.
Yeah.
You know, we were so used to her and I just collectively being like, we think this is cool, let's do it.
Right.
To then having to, you know, second guess and challenge every single idea that we thought of. And I think that made us a lot better. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, everybody kind of needs that person.
Yeah,
Like,
that's kind of interesting to hear, because obviously you guys are two separate people. But
Yeah.
you've probably worked together for so long that your brains are like
The
in
same.
sync.
Oh,
Yeah.
in
So it's
sync
like
entirely.
writing by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. It's like half of my brain is over there in the room, and mine other half is in here. So
And
Yeah.
we're always so aligned too.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just really good to have a little bit of assistance and being
Yeah.
like, okay, let's push this a little more, and
Yeah.
us being like, cool, let's do it.
Yeah,
you know?
challenge.
But yeah, to answer your question, from day one of Between Friends, it was always kind of just us two.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been amazing opening up the world a bit more and letting new people in to help us achieve, you know,
Yeah.
a mission.
Well, you've probably been asked this a million times, so I won't make you go so in depth, but I would love for listeners to have a brief timeline overview of Between Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're
Okay.
siblings, so you've been together for many years.
Yeah, we have.
I mean, I would say
We started Between Friends.
we
that?
like being siblings, we've been going at this music thing since we were children.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
just kind of been the given in our lives. It's been always at the forefront of our brains. Like, this is what we want to do, and we want to do it together since 7, 8. So we can get
Were you
that
like
out of
raised
the way.
on music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, our parents are not musically talented,
But they're
they
big
love
music
music.
consumers.
Love
big.
it. Yeah.
Like every genre is just covered on the basis of like being at home with our parents, and they had us exploring music in different styles from very young ages. So I think that was a very good baseline for us, because there was no rules, and
No.
that's kind of how we continued to create as adults, which is funny when you think about it, like that and then that. But
Yeah.
No, like you can imagine, you know, growing up in Florida, it's just like the late 90s when we were babies, and you know, the techno scene happening in Miami was a really big deal.
Absolutely.
So we were listening to everything at a young age, from like Fleetwood Mac to, you know, Stardust and Daft Punk. That was all happening in our household.
Yeah.
Oh, I can so hear the inklings of that though,
Yeah,
in
so
your music.
it was all so like fluid, and those different genres never seemed far away from each other in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because of how they were in our rotation, and I
Yeah.
think that assisted us a lot with creating our music.
yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, so, you know, that being the basis of like our lives and growing up in the same house together, obviously, we always knew that this road would lead to somewhere more creative and more like, we got signed super young at 14 and 16, and we were like, didn't know what we were doing. We were trying country, we were trying this, trying that, like, but that set us up so great because that's how we were raised. And we were like, we were trying every different type of thing. And then by the time we were like settled into our bones, we were like, okay, we know exactly what we want to make now. I was 18, or
Yeah.
I think I
would
was
say.
like 18. He was 20. And we were like, this is the vision, this is what we want to make. And we had no idea what to do with it. And
Well, it was kind of for fun, to be honest.
it was for fun.
From the beginning.
Yeah. We started so young making music and signed so young.
Yeah. We had followed like the business formula for so long that we kind of just wanted something for us that was our outlet.
That's
and
so awesome.
So like
we
everything
started
we were
it-
making was under this like no name project.
Yeah.
And we like kept it tucked away secretly in like our laptops.
That's the best way to start it.
And it was the best because it felt truly like exactly what we wanted to do, and it was fun for us. And then we kind of hit this lull point with like the band that we were in before. We were just like, we don't really know what we're doing, and we had all this music all of a sudden. And then we had a meeting with who is our manager now, with our manager Michael, because we didn't have a manager.
No, we
And
didn't have any.
we didn't have anything.
Anything.
And he was like, play me what you're working on. And we didn't play any of the stuff that we had like professionally produced or whatever. We played that.
No, we did it first. He was like, do you guys have anything else? And I was like, well, we have this folder of stuff that like
and
we make
opened
at
up the
home.
folder just for him. He was the only person we had opened it up to. And that had Affection on it. That had
I Love You.
That whole first EP
The whole
on
first
it.
EP.
And he was like, cool, like you need a band name and you need to like get this going and we're going to start. And then that kind of just did that from there. And he was actually.
He kind of was like, let's start over.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And
he was
so,
like, you're adults now. You don't have to think about anything that you did as you were like kids.
Yeah.
Let's take this and run with it and figure out a name and we're going to start. And
that sounds like the perfect manager.
It was.
Yeah,
that
it
is
was
so
great.
the opposite of what managers usually do.
I know. He really believed in us and trusted our vision.
You know, and it's hard when you've been doing it for so long as kids. You have a lot of like track marks, you know, of things that you don't necessarily want to be involved in what you do
as an adult.
And, you know, for us, it was just like, we were looking for any way to do this for a living anyway. Yeah. So like we were doing talent shows, we were doing competitions, we were like literally anything that we could possibly do to get anyone to care, we were doing. So when we had met with Michael, there was like a lot that we wanted to change because we're now adults and we're now making music that we think is like, you know, it's like actually okay. And we were
it's
like, let's
very good and worth a lot. So yeah.
and we were just, you know, we wanted to start fresh, but we didn't know that we could, honestly. Yeah. We did not think it was possible.
He was like the voice of reason that we needed to kind of do it.
Yeah. And then it was easy.
And then
everything was easy.
But then as soon as we started, like we like all of a sudden got all this sort of attention with Affection. And
well, we put it out third. We'd put out 2 songs before.
Yeah.
We didn't have any, you know, any major big deal happening. It was kind of just us putting it out and just getting stuff out.
We like made the music video with our friends for no money, which we still do.
Yeah. And then we put Affection out third, and
then the pandemic happened, and all of that sort of thing that we've built, we were just like, okay, we need to be on the internet, even though we like meeting people in person and you know, that sort of energy.
We saw the song sort of snowball during the pandemic with streaming and with
and we were just like, we felt like
TikTok kind of started to become you remember during 2020 it became like a pretty big deal. So we started seeing like all these kids using the song, and we're stuck inside living at home still.
That's so
like,
out of body.
Yeah, and we're like, what do we do? You know, what can we do right now? And so we were in a pretty shit deal. And
sorry, we're also just like rambling. I feel like
I love this.
Your question
Tell
was
me
like
all about it.
No, she's the timeline.
Okay.
This is the timeline.
So during that timeline, and something we forgot to mention before, when we had met with our manager, we were in the middle of a really, really shitty deal.
That we had signed when we were younger.
That we had signed before we were 18, and that we were still kind of going through. So that was a part of the whole like secret happiness folder. It was like we needed this outlet, and that's why we showed him that. Right. But he, you know, was like, we got to get out of this thing. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't even know if I should, like, we essentially did something where like the mixtape that's 25 songs
fulfilled our
contract. And that's
Love
all
that.
I
And
really
we
need to.
we made it during the pandemic. In addition to it being us like trying new things and having a lot of fun,
It was also like our
it
ticket to
also
freedom.
was like it was like a sword for us, and it
Right.
really saved the day. And that's why the mixtape is like always and forever something so important to me.
That's so kick-ass. You were like, here's this weird, just like us trying
Yeah.
new shit.
There was no prompt. There was
Yeah.
we did it all just like, cool, we're going to just drop this thing.
And we did
Yeah.
it with no money, no nothing. Like,
Good for
nothing.
you.
And we just,
And I think the mixtape really is when the audience got quite broad.
that's
Yeah.
my favorite part. I think
Yeah.
as much as the mixtape was kind of just this like step for us to stand on and like helped us out of so many things, it also helped us understand, which is kind of what I was saying before, is like it helped us understand that like we don't need to be in any sort of category.
Yeah.
We can just try things and our fans will come with us. And the ones that are just finding out about us during this time, there's at least one song on that mixtape that someone will like. Like
Yeah.
it's we played with electronic, we played with like Aretha Franklin, we played with like
Instrumentals.
We did
Yeah.
instrumentals, we did like Fergie sounding songs, like we did everything. And I think that at that point, even our friends who had never mentioned any songs to us that we've put out were like, oh shit, like that's like crazy that you guys put out 25 songs, or like that's crazy that this song sounds like this, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's like the point when we realized that we had made a broad audience, of not just kids that were looking for this like bedroom pop kind of thing that was sort of our breakout vibe. And it was more like, okay, that they can do sort of whatever they want and we don't know what is going to come from them. And
Yeah.
that
like
can be exciting.
this is like a weird thing to say, but I feel like Affection got our like internet cred and the mixtape got like our street cred. Like
For sure.
Absolutely.
it
yeah.
really gave us that sort of like sturdy
Dynamic.
ground to walk on. And
Right.
I don't regret it. I know that it came out of something like, it's like saying like a flower grows out of whatever, like a trash can or whatever. Like it's kind of like that's the kind of like we were put in a position of like having to make something beautiful out of something not so beautiful. So
and we love it. We released we did finals for it that we designed, and we did so much towards that product because I think for us it was like this. It's like a soldier, and we love that soldier.
And like the cover of it, which I think is such a like a timepiece cover of me with the green and all the shield on. I like took by myself in my parents' garage. Like everything about it is just so like.
Oh, there's so much
was made
more.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Like-
the videos too. Literally everything that we did for that was all just like
First time I ever learned how to use a
Creative
video
bender.
editing, like a Premiere on my computer. I edited all those music videos by myself. Like it was so fun. And like that's the best way to
Wouldn't
spend.
you describe it was a creative bender?
It was a creative bender.
That was.
It was a creative bender for
And it
sure.
was nonstop. And we did it in 3 months, and we were
Wow.
like, hell yeah, let's go.
That's actually very quick.
It was very quick.
for that much.
We didn't
We had
think
to.
about it. We didn't second guess it. There was no like, let's tinker with it. It was like, this is cool. Let's
That
do
seems
this.
like it's the theme with like the start of this project
Yes.
though, is you simply didn't think about it because you had to think about so much else.
Yeah.
And now you've like found your groove just being anything.
And we're grateful. That's the
Yeah.
thing, if this was easy, this would be a way more boring conversation. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You're not doing it because it's easy.
No, we're doing it
No.
because it's the only thing in the
No.
world that like makes us tick, and like we have to do it. If we don't do it, like we would disintegrate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
Actually.
My God.
No, it's this or death. We always joke around. Like we joke around and say that it's this or death. So like
Well, I'm glad it's this then.
yes, me too.
But yeah, so then we did the mixtape. After the mixtape, we had an amazing conversation with our current team at 10K Homemade Projects, and we signed a deal with them.
Yep.
We released an EP called Cutie. That EP sort of opened up more doors for us. We started playing music festivals. We started playing our first couple shows. We did a 5-show sort of secret thing where we just were like, let's try touring, and we booked like 5 cities, and then it
I
turned
think it was
into
8.
yeah, and then it turned into doing 2 nights everywhere, and then we sort of disappeared for a minute, and we
that
started working on our album.
was I Love My Girl.
Yeah, it was I
She's
Love My Girl,
Boy.
She's My Boy, and you know,
Incredible album title, by the way. I love that.
thank
It's actually
you.
something that
lived in our notes.
lived in our notes for
years.
about 2 years.
Longer.
More?
Longer. Think back.
True.
This is
Because
like 4 years.
my like
Wow.
XX said it to Brandon about me.
And I told him, I
Oh,
was
So
shit.
that was
like, yeah.
I know we haven't gotten sued yet. Aren't you excited about that?
And I told him, I said, that's going to be the name of our first album. And it lived in the notes forever. And when we're making music, we work with SoundCloud. So we like make, you know, like little folders of whatever we're working on. And literally for years, it's been called I Love My Girl, She's My Boy. And it's gone through 4 different iterations.
Yep.
It's been scrapped multiple times. It's been
Yeah.
rebuilt. And yeah, so we started working with Luca. She works at MXM, which is Max Martin's production studio, and we started working out of there. She got signed there 2 years ago. She was like, we should do some sessions, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Came in with some ideas. We narrowed through them together. She was like, I think this is sick, and it's
And then
different.
a year later, after spending pretty much every day of that year together,
Yep.
we had an album.
Yeah, we had an album, our first album.
That was also a sort of out of body experience. I feel like we
Blacked out.
blacked out and we just like made this thing, and it was so different from everything else that we've made, but like same thing that we've been talking, this whole kind of
Yeah, that's your
surface of
It's the full
MO.
this
circle.
conversation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Like I feel like the album is has the exact DNA of Affection, but in a sonic world that like we have not explored yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we knew that we had created our first album, when we were like, oh,
Yeah.
this is, I feel really uncomfortable making this right now. And then we were like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, this is it.
That's
Yeah.
a
how we
great
knew.
way to put it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how it felt.
It's about breakups, and like
Yeah.
Sav and I had gone through some bad ones, and we were currently dealing with them, and we were like, fuck, let's make an album about like multiple different relationship scenarios and see.
Well, also
what comes about.
because Cutie was so fantasy based. Like
Okay.
as a songwriter, because that's kind of like my main thing
Right.
in between friends, like singer, obviously songwriter, but like
Abstract dancer.
abstract dancer, obviously. With Cutie, and pretty much always, it was so much easier for me to write from a perspective that was not real.
Well, it's
Like-
easier to make something up than it
Yes.
is to face the truths.
Exactly.
sure.
So like when you think about Orange Juice, when you think about all these songs, I'm so like, and now we're floating in the sky, like just very like out of real life. And
Yeah,
so
escapism.
yeah. And so for this, like, this was like real shit. And it was really deep shit that like Luca honestly helped me uncover and helped me like dig out, and like Self-Destruct, for example. Like,
Yeah.
that was like the really, like, that was like the hardest song I've ever written, only because it was like I had to look at myself in the mirror almost. But I
Right.
think every song on the album was so honest and so true. And that,
It was an emotional roller coaster.
yeah. But also,
we were fighting, we were crying, it was like a wild time.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
like a
but
While
wild
we're on
time.
the topic
Yeah.
of that album, what
Yeah.
would be a song that is like sort of the meat of that era?
Okay.
The entree of the album.
I would say Self-Destruct.
I would
Yeah.
say Bruise. I would say Self-Destruct.
I hate that I just threw it all away. I'm on my head, I'm sorry for the things. Are you okay? I wish that you knew how badly I hurt you. I self-destruct when I'm with you. So
Okay, why
Yeah.
Self-Destruct? Why does that sort of represent the album as a whole?
On a silly fun note, I think it's our like Kelly Clarkson banger of the album.
It is such
But-
a banger.
like, if I'm being honest, I think that it feels that way, and I think it's a good pop song. But I also think
Totally.
it just it feels like the meat. It feels
Yeah.
like the meat, and everything else on the album obviously has such a special place to me. And I think Bruise gives me that as well. But I think it just feels like the meat. It feels like steak and potatoes. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
Yeah. What about you? What's the meat of the album to you?
Well, that's why I was going so back and forth, because I was like, Bruise is a good appetizer, but it also is the one that I keep going back to on the album.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that was the first song we made for the album too. So
oh, really?
It was.
to me, like that's why I said that first. To me, that's the meal.
Right.
It's just because it
For
was.
you, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It's
Yeah.
all the above.
You're like,
No,
let's
but
go.
that song is like was the that created the vibe.
It did.
And
It set the
I'll
tone.
Okay,
I'll
that was
never
like
forget.
the umbrella
Yeah.
sort of.
Well, and that was the scary bit. It was like, this sounds like nothing we've ever really made.
Ugh.
And that was us being like, what do we do? And then Luca being like, we go for it. And we take that and we run with it and we continue on this record. So
Yeah.
in a way that it makes, but that was the first song we made for the record, and Self-Destruct was the last song we made for the record. So
Oh, look at
it's
this.
this sort of like, we had tried 100 different versions of Self-Destruct and like
Oh, I tinkered with that thing for weeks.
for weeks. It was the last thing. So
Yeah.
I think
Couldn't
they're
get
both
it right.
they're very crucial to the meat part of this
Yeah.
this conversation.
So Self-Destruct was kind of a hard song to write, both for you in the writing process and for you in the production.
Yeah, it was the
because
most difficult one to produce.
originally we had written it. We had this like
It was just
janky
acoustic guitar.
Okay.
pink
Yeah.
kids guitar,
Uh-huh.
Love
and
that.
Brandon had taken a break for a second, and me and Luca were just jamming on this pink guitar, and then we wanted to show him. We tracked it roughly with the pink guitar and my
I
vocal.
love that
That's
it's a
it.
kid's guitar. I can picture
It's
it.
Yeah.
pink, tiny little thing.
Yeah.
Sounds super janky. And we just wanted to get it up so we can show Brandon. And then we did, and he was like into it. He helped me. We wrote it, blah, blah, blah. And we just sat with it like that for months. We didn't know. We were like, does it need drums? What is it supposed to do?
It just never felt right. And I feel like I tried the beat. I would say I tried like 6 or 7
Oh, yeah.
different
We
Wow.
did. We did.
different beats for it. Just I couldn't get the drums right.
And then
didn't know
like he was trying to play the drums on it, and then I think we tried to have a friend play the drums. That didn't work, and then we took all the drums out entirely.
no, and then I finally got it.
Yeah, and then we got it.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's like,
Yeah, but it was the same thing with the writing. I feel like we went back and forth on that for a while too.
really?
Didn't that not take a minute?
No, that was written in like 2 hours.
Like,
That
okay.
same day.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, it was
the
a difficult.
songwriting was
it was a
finished
difficult
that
one.
day on the pink guitar, but
But
That goes
sometimes
to
that's
show like how important it was for the album vibe, though, that
Yeah.
you pushed through all of that.
yeah.
good. I mean, Smiley too.
Yeah.
Oh, Smiley was rough.
That
Why?
song
How
took.
come?
That song took a
We
lot
genuinely
of time.
had 7 different songs
I
in
cared.
that one
I was
song.
the
Oh my
fighter for that
God.
one. I fought for that song.
Do you like the way I talk about you all day? Wanna hear you say you talk about me all the time.
What about it did you fight
I wanted
for?
to do it, and I knew there was something
simply
there.
just to get it done.
And Sav was like, I don't know. Like, I love it, but it doesn't feel as strong as everything else. And I was like, it's because we haven't spent days on it like everything else.
it's because we haven't put blood, sweat,
Yeah.
and tears
Yeah.
into it.
And then as
It's
soon
because
as we
you and I haven't fought yet about
Yeah.
Right.
this song.
and then as soon as we spent days on it and we cracked it, I think that's the best feeling in the whole world is
Yeah.
when you crack a song.
Yeah.
When it finally
Yeah.
is like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's it.
Yep. For me, that moment especially during that song was the bridge.
Okay.
As soon as we wrote that bridge, I was like, okay, it has to go on the album. Something about it just made me feel that way.
That was a course for me.
Yeah. True. Both of
It
them.
was a course
Yeah.
for me all day.
But
It's so funny how you guys have such different perspectives on like what like settled the song into your bones. Going back to what you said earlier, yet
Yeah.
your brains are so merged into
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
yep, that just it helps us. It's a little reminder, like, oh, you guys are different people.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Cool. It's kind of good. It's a nice little reminder.
No, I think that we really busted our ass making the record. Like
We did.
it was a straining, incredible, amazing process that
I don't think we had ever worked as hard on anything. I mean, the mixtape we told you was like this whole sort of like outgrowing your shell experience, but also we learned so much about ourselves. But this was like blood, sweat, tears,
Oh, yeah.
mind, body, soul. Like we were giving 100% of ourselves every single day for an entire year. And as soon as we finished, it was like 10 other things we had to do for it, obviously, as you know, with album campaigns.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, now you're going on a tour.
on your first big
on your
tour,
first tour for 2 months, and you're sleeping in a van.
and it's your entire responsibility to make sure that these tickets sell well, which
Yeah.
we had no clue. Like I said before, we'd only done
We had no idea.
we had only done like those couple shows, and then we made it 2 nights because they
Right.
sold out fast, which we were super grateful for. But we didn't know if it was going to be like that, entire United States.
Right. That wasn't like a
Canada,
pointed effort. It just like
London.
happened.
Yeah.
You sold those
It
out.
happened,
Yeah.
and it was a shock to us, and it was a blessing for us, and we had so much fun. And I think,
Yeah, and then we announced this tour, and it went.
Yeah.
We were like, oh shit, okay, this is amazing.
Yeah. And
Well,
seeing these kids like sing the songs that came out 3 months before was
That
like
must feel so good.
so
It's the coolest
wild
thing
to
ever.
us.
And we'd never
Especially-
done that. We'd literally
Never.
never done that.
Never.
Like
It was wild.
We'd never seen even this amount of kids
Yeah.
like at our show before.
Yeah.
Like the result.
We
Yeah.
of
had
everything
no
you
clue.
put in.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
And
We
the other-
literally had zero clue. No one did.
No one had any idea. And I think on top of that, nothing has ever been easy for us. Like in this industry, and I know it's that case for so many artists, for the majority of artists, but like we were like, not only are we busting our asses on this tour, we're pretty much self-funding this tour. We're sleeping in a van, but this one little bit of these kids looking at us and singing our songs back to us, like, makes up for everything.
Yeah.
Like, I would have stayed in that van for the rest of like
We
6
said
more
it.
months.
We were like, we could do this for
it-
6
it
more
made
months.
everything-
Just for that 30, 40
Yeah.
minute
Yeah,
set every
for
night.
sure.
yeah. It just like, it meant everything to us, and it means everything to us. And I think that's why when we came home like 4 days before Christmas, so we didn't really have much time
Yeah.
off, but like January came and we were like, we need to make more music. Like we need
And
to keep
you are.
like, yeah, like we need to keep
and
going.
Yeah, and now I'm having like literally personally having the time of my life with the deluxe album stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's like
Yeah.
we are just doing whatever we want,
Yeah.
and it's turning out to be stuff that we really like a lot.
Yeah.
And
That
it-
is
and it's not
gratifying,
required
yeah.
like it. You know, it's different. Like with the album, it was like this intense focus to make this shit correct.
It's like a body of work.
Yes.
But now you get these like expansion
things.
packs.
Yeah.
It can be
These
like,
little
okay,
things.
this song is an extension of this song, and this song is an extension of this song, and they all fit together in this world, and it's really
Ooh.
fun. So
and
I
we've
think,
had all this stuff.
well, not all of it.
Well, no, not we've made a few of them.
We've had
brand
like
new.
2 of the things,
But they like we didn't want it to live in our computer.
No.
I was like,
No,
hell no.
please don't
Let's
let it
like
live in your
let's put
computer.
this
Yeah.
music out and
So I think there's something coming that's gonna be the dessert.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, Pleasure Delayer just released
Yes.
last week.
I've been carving your name on the walls of my brain. You say it's my fault 'cause I call you late.
That
Yeah.
is definitely a dessert for me because I haven't heard the new one yet.
Oh.
Which I don't know if you guys have yet either. 'Cause
Well-
you're
Yeah.
still okaying the mix.
That's been the case for the deluxe. It's just like, okay, yeah, good, do it, let's go.
and like somehow these ideas that were just ideas before
Yeah.
have turned into things that I think are like really I think we really challenged ourselves
Yeah.
and did a good job on
Yeah.
these things that were literally just beats or just scratch
or
ideas.
literally just
Song
like a
seeds.
synth line.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And
yeah.
yeah, so I think dessert's on the way.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about
Personally.
Pleasure Delayer
Yeah.
just to
Yes.
satisfy me as
Yeah.
a dessert.
I
Yeah,
think-
Pleasure Delay. I wrote it in
April.
April after Coachella, actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We just got home and I had got this guitar that it was like this Frankenstein acoustic guitar that had
Love that.
electric guitar pickups in it and these
We
big
got it for
knobs.
tour
and-
because Self-Destruct is acoustic, but we
Uh-huh.
wanted to make it sound.
Yeah, this is way before tour. This
I know, but
April.
you got it for
That was the
that
intention.
song.
Yeah, it was for that song. And I basically just wanted like this Frankenstein thing that I could like have with me everywhere, play it like an acoustic, but also plug it in and make it sound insane. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd gotten that guitar and I had a amp in the garage for some reason, and I just started playing that. And Sav came up and we wrote this song about starting to like someone new after all this madness of the album, which
was a crazy,
which is a big feeling.
like, other feelings.
You
You've
know-
got this whole record that feels like heartbreak,
Right.
heartbreak,
Yeah.
heartbreak.
The whole
Heartbreak,
thing.
but also like living in a world that is kind of just like the two of you guys and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're a producer for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like, oh, I can put energy into something else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So I think when this like little light spark, and we both felt it at the same time, which is hilarious because that just shows you the in-sync
Yeah, like
vibe.
I liked someone and he liked someone. And
Yeah,
it
that's
was-
terrifying a little
Yeah,
bit.
and
Yeah.
then we were like, but we just wrote this whole album about being broken
Yeah,
up.
and-
like,
You're like,
so-
shit, did we get over that?
yeah, and
shit,
so
did this like therapize us? Like,
yeah, and it did. It was
Yeah.
therapy, and then all of a sudden there was this new thing, and that song literally happened so fast, and we made it, and it was that, and we were happy with it being that because it sort of summed up the feeling that we wanted it to. And
I would say also Really Good Cry has been a extra little cherry on top of our dessert.
Oh yeah.
For me as well, I really like that song, and we also had many versions of that song on the record. It was
originally a drum and bass song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It was supposed to be track 8 on the album.
Yeah.
And it got cut.
It was called Make Your Mind Up.
It was called Make Your Mind Up. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just like, everyone was just like, I don't know about this one. And then Deluxe came around, and we were like,
we scratched the chorus, redid it.
We redid it 4 times as well. And we were just like, you know what? We finally did it a year later.
Yeah.
Like, we had to sit with this feeling for a year. And so I think that's also a little dessert.
Yeah.
That's such a great closer to a breakup as well.
Yeah.
Because it's such a nod to like, yes, I put all this emotion into it, but all I really got out of it was like that one cry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or also like what we were just saying about how like it was kind of like therapy to us. It was like,
but you never realize that until you're over it, and see that's why it all feels like the light at the end of the tunnel. This whole Deluxe album is a lot of that.
Even Really Good Cry is like, I had my cry, now I can move on. Like it's kind of just all sort of playing off of each other.
The plot is so deep.
The plot
If there's
is
a Between Friends Reddit, they're gonna have a field day.
I hope there is.
I hope they're like drawing diagrams of like a family tree of like the fucking album.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Deluxe is like, it's been our new passion project. It's been like working on a car every day after work, kind of.
That's such a good way to put it.
You know that idea? That's literally what it feels like. It's like this thing that we love so much that we know is going to get done soon, but like it's not like we're not killing ourselves to do it. We're just doing it because we love it, and because we have these songs that we think are great that we want to like get out into the world. And it's
more
been
of a
so
passion
fun.
project.
Like
in every aspect, we kind of like delivered for the album and delivered for what we needed to do for the album. And this bit was like, we had a great tour, and this Deluxe is for us to like close this chapter, and also like for the fans to close the chapter with us. So
both storyline and just like feeling of it.
So
and then we have to make a new album.
Don't think about that. That's later.
I literally snapped at him because from our conversation earlier, I snapped at him yesterday, and because he was asking me like, when are we going to start making music again, while we've continuously been working on Deluxe. And I'm like, let us finish this thing on Deluxe, and then we can talk about making the next thing. But I'm a very like,
you have to give yourself to it fully kind of as well.
I have to be so done with something before I can like turn my back to it. So
definitely.
And work on something else. So yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to hear what's next. And for the song next week, which is so...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. That's right.
Well, it'll be out by the time...
Yes.
Eyes on My Baby. That song, I like that one a lot. That's another one I fought for.
Oh.
I fought for this one.
I love that title.
Brandon did fight for this one.
Eyes on my baby, I think she saved me. I know we won't miss, we never break like eyes on my baby. I think she saved me up till the morning. We stay awake like.
Tell me all your secrets and keep them in my bed.
I think it's the coolest.
And there's another one, which is... Should we tell them the name?
I love
Drive
the
Over Me?
dishes that are clattering in the background.
Perfect.
It's like a driver's test, except it's just my ADHD trying to stay like
this
locked
interview
in.
has been that entire... the whole time I'm like, dog, door.
No, I like it though, because it's, we're talking about food,
Yes.
right?
It's like, when they do like
BGB.
interviews on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like that actually, but except it's my
honestly,
office.
Maybe it'll keep like the viewers' attention more because it's like an ADD thing, like, and TikTok is a thing. So they're like, well, it's been a 30-minute interview, but technically it's been 5 because of all of the additions.
I've done a lot.
Because we've been working on it over here.
Oh my gosh.
But you fought for Eyes on My Baby is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
He fought for Eyes on My Baby. I'm glad that it's coming out. And then there's one more song. That's
there's
gonna
more.
be,
There's interludes too.
well, there's interludes, but there's one more song, which is what I was referring to as the cherry on top of everything.
Yes.
And that one's called Drive Over Me. And it's just
a funny name.
It's my favorite thing right now.
Right. Drive over me. Run me over with your car. I'm always saying that.
That's what it is.
The lyric is, I like you more than life, so drive over me.
Oh, that's so good
Which
and
I
to the
think
point.
is really funny.
Okay, well,
Wow.
that's all we're
I
gonna
think
say.
we wrote that part and we were like, this is so funny.
I love when it's kind of stupid. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
you
gotta
can't
be.
put that
Literally.
in a song.
Literally.
It's gotta be. Everyone
Literally.
takes themselves way too seriously nowadays.
Totally.
It's better to just
just
have fun.
Oh, well, my
Yeah.
final pressing question for
Let's
you
do it.
guys. Oh my god, I'm like, do they have to shake the silverware around?
shake it.
God,
I'm thinking the same thing. I was literally
I'm like sweating trying to like stay locked in.
We got this,
final
guys.
question.
We got
Final
this.
question.
I want to know who your ones to watch.
The time.
No.
He's like so just doing his
I
job.
know.
dude.
I know.
I know. I feel
You
bad.
live your life, my man.
I
It's
know.
ridiculous though. He's literally throwing them. He's throwing them into the fucking drawer.
God,
Okay.
I want to know who your ones to watch are.
Please tell me.
Please tell me now.
Who
My ones
should
to watch.
I be listening to that
Okay.
you guys are listening to?
McGee is the songbird
yeah,
of our
Dream
generation.
Police
that
is
album is coming out
crazy.
in
Friday.
Friday,
Well, this Friday.
Oh, wait, that changed everything
I'm so
for me.
excited. There's another group called Chanel Beads. I love them. I think
Okay.
that they've got a thing.
Untitled Halo.
There's a band called Untitled Halo.
Ooh, I don't know this.
They are from Silver Lake, I think. Actually,
They're
amazing.
so good.
Cool.
Who else is on our list?
Veda, obviously.
Veda,
Obviously Veda.
the best.
She's like, you make she like it's like hot bitch music. Like I don't even care. I drive a big truck and I play that shit windows down
All day.
Better.
all day long. So if you ever feeling like down, just put that shit on. It's very good.
I'm in.
What else have we really been?
I feel like let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at
That's
that.
like that's really
It's a good amount.
solid
Okay,
for me.
down.
Yeah. So
That was awesome.
McGee, Chanel Beads,
Untitled
Veda,
Halo.
Untitled Halo.
Leave it
Love
at
it.
that.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
And, I
you.
mean, and dealing with
Oh,
the silver.
we're-
Oh, it's been so difficult.
We're not leaving. We're not leaving. I was expecting a 3-course meal on top of our 3-course.
The rolling of the trash. Yeah. They're not gonna be able to
Is
hear
it
it. though.
always like
no,
this?
they won't be able to
No.
hear it. No, it's not always like this. I don't know what it is about
It's the
this
rain.
day.
It's the
Something.
Pineapple Express getting to everyone.
Truly.
It's chaos.
But honestly, it's really cool to have you guys on here and like actually get the whole timeline of what's happened in your career because we've been here for a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
Been here since day one for
Yeah.
sure.
Seriously.
And we have these like articles and write-ups and stuff that we've done
Yeah.
in interviews, but to hear from you, like
Yeah.
what you've experienced behind the scenes while we've just been watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really cool and
Thank
I'm
you.
happy.
Yeah,
that
well-
you
Thank you
guys
for
are so
letting
happy.
us talk about ourselves
Absolutely.
for so long.
Yeah, I hope-
I think I also want to say like this is only our second time ever doing like a talking interview.
Yeah.
Really?
Like as between friends. Like
Yeah.
we did the Apple Music thing.
Yeah, we did Apple Music and then
and this. And so
is
I
great.
feel like whoever is interested in getting to know us, it's kind of nice. You can hear our dumbasses talk for an hour or so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, but we're so grateful. We love OnesToWatch. You guys
Seriously.
have always, done such a great job, and
Thanks.
we're so
Taking
grateful.
such good care of us.
So thank you.
we do our best. Well, thank you.
We did this because we thought this was insurance that we'll never get a bad write-up.
Oh, yeah, no, you're in for life now.
Well, I thought I was doing this for a free meal, but it was just us
Is that
explaining
how we were
ourselves.
eating?
I thought we were getting a 3-course meal.
You know, I've thought about it. Like maybe one day.
You'd be sick.
Be sick.
I cook pretty well. I've been
yes.
thinking about like setting the podcast stuff up in my living room or
I would be
something.
So sick.
You should serve weird foods like
Yeah.
chocolate
Oh, yeah.
pasta or like weird
Or
stuff
like
that people don't
what's
want.
that like Jello shit? That's like all the old people eat. It's like the green Jello.
Oh, where they put like meat in
and they
it.
put meat in the
the
Jello.
fact that your brain went to that is kind of scary.
because
not
I'm just
gonna
thinking
lie.
visuals, babe. I'm thinking visuals here.
And
I'm
your
thinking what
visuals
looks
are
good.
so incredible.
I'm thinking what's gonna look crazy on this,
Like a ham jello.
Oh.
and it jiggles. And you're
Giant.
like, here's your appetizer.
Yeah.
Now what's your appetizer?
And they have to eat it by the end of the interview,
Yeah.
or,
Or
it
no,
doesn't get
before
posted.
they answer the question. So
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
you say. It's like here, that like what Saf said. Here's your
Yeah.
appetizer. Now what's your appetizer?
Like hot ones, kind
Yeah.
of.
kind of like hot ones, or like you can combine it with that other skit where like you either have to tell the truth or eat the disgusting thing.
Oh yeah, like I put a bunch of random objects in the Jello, and then they have to dig something out if they don't want to answer the question.
Yeah. You could totally
Okay.
cut this part out of the interview.
You
If
can-
you
yeah,
want.
100%.
I
I'm
won't.
genuinely just telling you that I really
What do you mean?
expected a 3-course meal today. I didn't
Shit.
eat lunch.
Well, I got you a matcha.
I
How's
quit
that?
smoking
Hell yeah.
last week. I'm hungry.
She's been terrible to deal with.
I've had so much caffeine.
She's been terrible
I'm
to deal
gonna
with.
cry.
The worst.
You are kind of tearing up a little.
It's not actually. It's actually serious.
Like, you guys notice I'm just kind of sitting here like looking away because she will punch me.
No, this has been happening all the time. Like I'm very emotional.
That feels like a good place to cut
It
this.
does.
So thank you for
Once
having
So
us.
thanks once again. This is OnesToWatch Chef's Choice.
Thank you.
I'm Abby.
We're between friends.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Will.
You will.